The Independent Commission of Investigations was set up in 2010 in Jamaica. Its aim was to crack down on abuses by security forces, and it's the only one of its kind in the Caribbean. Joining us now for some perspective to discuss why it was set up, the progress that's been made since it was set up, and some of the challenges that currently exist, is Terrence Williams. He's the Commissioner of INDECOM. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Zara.
Let's start by asking you, why was INDECOM set up?
INDECOM was set up to have a truly independent body to investigate the police and the JDF and the correctional department, because the previous civilian body didn't have sufficient powers to do an effective and adequate investigation.
Are you effective?
We believe we are. We certainly are independent, and we have certainly made sure that we have all aspects of the investigations in our own hands, and we don't have to depend on the police to investigate the case. We do our own arrests and put them before the courts.
It's been 4 years. How many people have you charged, and how many people have you actually gotten convictions for?
In the last 4 years, we have put about, through our investigations, just under 80 police officers and soldiers before the court. We're in a position now where none of the cases have been completed.
How frustrated are you, if at all, with the Director of Public Prosecutions in trying to get these cases through the system started?
I'm not at all frustrated with the director. Like I'm sure any member of the judicial system is. I'm frustrated with the system being so slow.
There is this thinking that, especially here in Jamaica, when you charge a police officer, and let us say that police officer gets out on bail and may try to interfere with witnesses, and the longer you take to try a case, the likelihood of witnesses disappearing is that much more increased. Are you concerned about that at this point, that some of these 80 people that you've actually charged may never go to jail?
I'm concerned that we have a fair trial, and a fair trial is a process. You speak of the dangers to witnesses. We have that in mind, and in the appropriate cases, we object to bail, and in some of these cases, the courts have refused to grant bail.
There is a case that is in the country at this moment, which is the Clarendon police that were organized and going out to carry out extrajudicial killings or unlawful killings. Allegedly. How many others exist?
Well, I cannot say no. Those are things that we have under investigation, and I really couldn't say more about that now.
People have said that maybe you charged people too soon without any evidence and are just now coming to the table to seek evidence. Is that generally the modus operandi at INDECOM?
Well, I don't agree with that criticism. But as I said, any case we put before the court is ready. An investigator will always be looking at other angles and other aspects of the case.
Talk to us about those scenes of crimes. You hear about these shootouts, and a lot of times it's masqueraders as gunman on gunman killing, and then come to find out that it's actually police who've actually carried out these killings. How often, in your experience, does that really happen?
We can't know how often. That's why it's important for us to get to the scenes quickly. But we have professionals in forensic science who work with us. And if a scene is fixed up, there are certain things that they can see. They can see the absence of ballistic material. They can see whether a blood splatter is a drag mark as opposed to an active splatter from a body.
We have seen a reduction in police killings this year. Why has that happened?
I think it must be improvements in the police force as regards their use of force policy and how they implement it and make people accountable for it. It must be the greater vigilance with the INDECOM investigations. I think it must be all of these factors coming into play. Also matched, of course, by a general turndown in violent crime in Jamaica.
When we talk about extrajudicial killings in Jamaica, how high up do the orders go? Do you believe that the orders are coming from within the police force at a much higher level? Do you believe that the orders are perhaps coming from politically connected individuals that are outside the force?
It is something that we are investigating.
Something that you're investigating.
And I would not want to say anything unless or until someone is charged.
Terrence Williams, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your thoughts. That's Terrence Williams. He is the commissioner of INDECOM, the Independent Commission of Investigation. Coming up,